Okay guys, how y'all doing today? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Barbara and I am 83 days sober today. I want to start telling my story so that there can be awareness and maybe, just maybe, it will help at least one person. That's all I care about. I don't care about the views. I don't care about none of that. But if this story touches you, please hit the share button, like, and follow. So in order to get to where I am today, I need to go back to the beginning. Back 44 years ago, when my mother at 17 had already had one child and was pregnant with me. She was married to my father, which she did not know at the time had 3 other wives. When she was in labor with me, having me, he was with one of his other wives, but insisted that I got named after his mother. That's how I got my name. He was a very nasty, abusive man. My mother tried to leave many times. She was very scared. One night when he was with one of his other wives, she did pack us up and brought us to our grandparents' house. She thought that we would be safe, that my grandfather would protect us. Ultimately, he called the house repeatedly to where my mother finally answered him. I was just a baby. My grandfather was sitting there with me on his chest in a dining room chair. It was, I guess, just after dark. And this man called my mother and told her that she better get his children and herself back to their house. She was refusing. Until finally, he said to her, "If you don't get my children back to our house in the next 15 minutes, you better take a look at your father's chest." Now, mind you, I was laying on his chest. And where I was laying, there was a red dot that was pointing at me. Ultimately, my mother went back, was very scared. My biological father was not a nice man. He hurt my sister and I very much. He would think that we were basketballs, and he would throw us into our pack and plays, our playpens. And really, I'm really surprised that he did not unalive all of us. In early 1982, he was a member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. And they were at a bar. He ultimately ended up unaliving somebody that night. And the cops had told him, because life in Vermont, in the state of Vermont, is 25 years. That is life. They ultimately told him that if he left the state for 25 years and don't look back, then I guess it would be forgot about. So that's exactly what he did. He entered a new chapter of the motorcycle club in Arizona and stayed gone for 25 years. My mom was moving on with her life, trying to heal, where she met the man that became my dad. He gave me his last name. He adopted me and actually took care of us. I did not know for many years that this man wasn't my dad. I didn't know that I was adopted. But he was a very severe alcoholic. I wouldn't say so much abusive, but he had his nights. Ultimately, I couldn't complain until I was 8 years old. He raised us. We had a decent life. A roof over our head. Struggling for food on the table, but, this was back in the 80s. We lived in a trailer park where most of the people that lived there were relatives. And then when I turned 8, I saw this little boy playing outside. And I wanted to go play with the little boy. So I did. He was riding his bike up and down the road. And he was out there with his dad. At that time, I didn't know that dads came out to play with their kids. My mom came out to see what I was doing, and I ultimately ended up introducing her to this man, not really realizing the consequences that would become from introducing her to this man. There was a huge fight, and I will get into that at another time. Thanks for watching, and watch out for episode 2.